then we arrived to our last topic, a topic that is dear to my heart is why redistributing power is important, right? And the role of women's leadership fundamental to achieve real transformation. Why do you think it's needed?
I think that having multiple perspectives is so important to making sure that companies are, just achieving a future that's fit for everyone, right? And half of the population is women. And so we should expect to see that reflected in leadership, right? And I think that when you bring together people from different backgrounds, men, women, people from different countries, minorities, right? You bring them to the table, then you are more likely to have the guiding voice that will really provide a strategic lens for how do you reach these different segments of the population. And I think that that's why it's important to have, women in leadership, because that strategic direction is important, right? So I think that for example, like when we think about like seatbelts, let's just take seatbelts, for example, right? And universally in all cars, really great at helping people survive. But when they first started developing them, they realized that women were not as protected from them as men because seatbelts were designed to the standard of a typical male, right? And if a woman was on that leadership team, that could have really, helped from the beginning show them that they needed to consider these other perspectives. And I think that's true when we talk about technology innovation, right? I mean, the seatbelt was a huge innovation, but now as we're thinking about blockchain, privacy, like, what types of privacy things are really important to women that, maybe men might not think about, like, our bodies, our reproductive health, right? Our children, right? Our being pregnant, there are things that women just don't want to, when we're thinking of technology intruding in people's lives, it will affect different people differently. And I think that that's why when we are thinking about leadership and achieving a true transformation that works for everybody, making sure that the leadership reflects who everybody is important.
Women participation in leadership to have to shape the new technologies, to have our needs at core. That's very important. So for women out there watching hopefully this video, and they look like us, but they are not participating in the transformation, what is your call to action and message?
So my call to action would be to make sure that if you feel like you want something, to go after it. One of the things that I've noticed in the women that I mentor is that sometimes we get in our own way. Well, I feel like I don't know enough, so I'm going to keep learning until I do, and then I'll apply, right? And I was reading this research paper the other day that said men will apply to a job if they meet 20% of the requirements, and women will apply to a job if they meet 80% of the requirements. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like sometimes, like, even I struggle with it. Like, I, want to do something or say something, and I'm like, do I know enough? Did I research this enough? Am I going to sound dumb? Right? Like, and that imposter syndrome really starts hitting you in waves. And my challenge for all the women out there watching this is to not let that stop you. Because I think now it's about changing that narrative of, if you get the sense of like, oh man, am I not good enough for this, to just remind yourself that you have gotten to where you are for a reason. You've worked very hard to get to where you are, and people deserve to hear your knowledge and your opinions. And if, somebody disagrees with your opinion, because there's always that one person, that will disagree with you, then just say that that's on them. That's not on me, because my opinion's my opinion. Right. And it's, you'll do us an injustice by not sharing it, by not going after those leadership positions and not sharing your knowledge with the world. So, I just would love to encourage everybody to, whenever they get that imposter syndrome, to remember that we're all imposters and we're just trying to make the world a better place. And we need you to share your knowledge with the world and to really just step up and go for it.
Excellent. I like it. In a world where you can be anything, be kind and be brave.
And be yourself.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for the people that are watching this video, and see you next time. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Belim.